is also in the final selection that I've just shown you there within New York. So that's the vintage travel. So you will get that included as well. Now we do have another set, but we don't have the samples on the counter, but we can show you a picture, and it's vintage postcard. This is a really nice set again. Now you're getting 6 sheets again, but you've got 6 individual elements on each sheet there, so you can really cut that down. I do have 1 or 2 of these at the demonstration area, so I can show you that. Now some other items we've got on the show, we've got some resin for you. Now this is your glass resin. It's not because it's glass, it is because it will dry very clear and look like glass, but you can apply this over all sorts of different things, maybe over your finished projects perhaps. Maybe you've got, I don't know, a particular piece of MDF that you really like and you want to give it that glaze over the top and protect it. This is a great way of working with it. It's just 1 part A, 1 part B, only $11.99. You've got 40 millilitres in each of those pots there, 935470. We also have pouring glaze for you. I know we had an email earlier saying, is there a difference between the pouring glaze and the resin? Yes, there is. There's a big difference. Resin is a completely different medium. The pouring glaze is water-based. It's great for suspending things like your galaxy flakes or your glitters in. You can do that with the resin as well. But the resin is harder wearing. And the pouring glaze, as I say, it's water-based. And not quite as hard wearing, but great for your crafting needs. And as I say, you can apply that over the top and use it to pick out detail if you just want to do that as well. So if you just want to pick out 1 or 2, maybe put some glaze on some berries or something like that would work very well. $12.99 for the pouring glaze, $481,148. Then we have the primer for you as well. This is huge. You've got a whole litre here, 1,000 millilitres, look, $22.99. This is your pen tart. 358692 is the item number. Everything dispatched on the 29th of January, and you're going to have so much fun. That will give you time to have a look around your house for things that you can upcycle. Things perhaps that don't match in with the colour scheme, or maybe you've got a little bit tired that you can change. You can use them and transfer them with these wonderful products. Right, demonstration time. If you've not seen these before, the demonstration, because I'm here on my own, it is basically just to show you how to use these on different surfaces, different ways of applying them, and to give you a few hints and tips as well. Now I have got in front of me, I should have really changed the water, but it doesn't matter. It's a little bit cloudy now because it's had a bit of paint in there, but I've got a bowl of water. When you do this at home, go with a nice clean bowl of water. It can be slightly warm, you don't want it hot. Doesn't have to be cold, just slightly warm, you know, just tepid would be fine. Then of course you've got your transfer sheets. Now I've done the biggest mistake that I tell everybody not to do by leaving some transfer sheets by the bowl of water. Because if you do that and the backing gets wet, it will transfer before you need it. So do keep those away wherever possible. Now I've got some various bits and pieces of different materials to apply. Now if you were watching the earlier show, I had a very battered suitcase that was a dark brown colour, and we did put a transfer on it which didn't show up particularly well because of the colour of the suitcase, and I did say I would see if I could get permission to paint it. Well, I did get the yes, and I'll be bringing that in a little bit later, so we'll work on that as a surface. Now first of all, the vintage postcards that we've got, we didn't have them on the counter, but this is how they will arrive with you. So you get 6 different elements all on 1 sheet, and you'll get 6 completely different sheets. They are really, really nice. I might have cut into some of these, but just to show you, you get a mixture. Some of them have got a little bit of colour in there as well. So I have taken 1 or 2 bits out of it, but these are great, especially if you're working on something like the coasters. I think we might still have these on the website, I don't know. These are the Crafty Devils coasters. I think we had them on the previous hour, so I'm sure they're still there. So you can apply directly onto the coaster. I would definitely protect that with something. When it comes to protecting these transfers, if it's something that's going to take a lot of heat, a resin that's specific for heat would be really good. Or you could use something like a Mod Podge. You can get so many different variants. Put a few layers of Mod Podge on, and that should also help protect as well. So directly onto something like that. I haven't got a spare side now with one of those because I've covered them all, I think. Just, yes, they've all got covers on. But all I would do is take one of the transfers, and if I was working off a square where these would fit just by cutting the frame, that's what I would do. I would just cut this out as a whole. So I don't really need to worry about the background. Now there's different ways of applying these. What you can do is soak them into water and then apply them onto a surface, or you can use a sponge on the backing. I'm going to be doing both to show you. Now, because I haven't got a spare coaster, but I have got a heart, and I think we've got these on the show as well. I'm going to use one of these. So, because I'm not using a square, I'm actually going to cut around this one. In fact, let me have a look. Yeah, I'll go with this one. I think I'm going to take the flowers off. So what you can do as well, if you don't want to use the whole of it, just roughly cut around. I better leave those flowers on there actually, because I don't want to cut into the petals at all. You don't have to get particularly close to the edge, but get rid of as much of the background as you can. The reason for this is you don't really need it for one thing, but if you're applying these to a darker surface, the more of the background, the clear transparency, even though it is clear, you might just be able to catch the edge of it. The lighter the surface, the less you'll see it. It's not really that visible, but I think if you trim away as much as you can, you will get a better finish. Now, there are ways of losing the edges as well. So maybe when you've applied to a surface, if you take a bit of fine sandpaper, and I would use a fine one, you could sand away at the edge of the transfer as well, giving it a feathered effect or just distressing it a little bit more. Or you could also dry brush over the edge of it as well, just to sort of blend it in. So what I'm doing, I'm just loosely cutting around this, taking away some of the background. And I do this straight from the sheet, and you will see in a second that there is a film that I need to remove before I apply this to the wood or the MDF that I'm going to use. Okay, so we'll just cut this around. As I say, you can see I'm doing it very loosely, really. I think that will do. Just got a little bit there that I might take out. Okay, now what you're going to do next, and this is quite important, but if you do forget, don't panic about it too much. What you've got here on the top is a clear film. If I just peel that back, you can see there's your clear film. That protects your transfer before you use it. Now, when you take that away, the actual transfer itself will be slightly tacky, so it will hold down to your project. So try not to get your fingertips all over it, because obviously the natural oils from your fingers will transfer onto the transfer itself. Now, I'm not going to put this in the middle because you can go off the edge. You can sort of clean the edges away. I'm going to have this coming in from the edge, and I'm going to layer a few things up on here, I think. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the first way that I would use these. Now, we'll need somebody, hopefully somebody in the gallery will do this for me, to time what I'm doing here. 30 seconds is ideal. So what I'm going to do is just pop that straight into my bowl of water, and we'll start timing now. Now, as that's being timed, I'm going to talk, so I'm hoping somebody is actually timing that, because I have no idea how many seconds have gone. You might find that the transfer will curl. It doesn't matter. You'll probably find that happens quite quickly. Then it will start to uncurl as it sits in the water. So I can see it's uncurling already. Are the 30 seconds up? Oh, we're getting there, we're getting there. Right, and we're just going to grab this. Now, you could use a pair of tweezers for this if you've got some. I did have a pair somewhere, but I'm just going to go with my fingertips. Try and avoid touching the transfer any more than you need to. And I'm not going in the middle with this. I'm going to sort of have this coming in from the edge, I think. So I could have cut this down. Rather than waste what I've got there, I could have literally cut the edge off and use that for another project, because it's nice to see things coming in from the edge. Now, I have got a sponge. I did have a spare one, but I don't know where it's gone. This one's a little bit wet, which is fine. Now, I'm just going to hold down the transfer on the back and use the sponge just to wipe over. This is just to make sure I've got no air bubbles in there. I'm going from the centre outwards, and you can see straight away what's happening is, look at that backing just sliding away already. Just going to take that bit off. You can literally just move that with a fingertip and slide that away. So that is now transferred. Now, because I've got these bits that go over the edge, just for now I'm just going to tuck them underneath, and they will stay stuck down. Now, obviously there's quite a lot of moisture on there, there is water on there, so I would let that dry. I'm not going to rub it dry. You could take a piece of kitchen towel and just dab that lightly if you wanted to, just to soak up that excess water, but you don't want to be rubbing at that. So I'm going to put that to one side for a minute. That's MDF. We're going to come back to that a little bit later on, but I want to show you other surfaces as well. Now, the postcards, I haven't got the full set here, but we can show you the picture a little bit later, hopefully. But something else I want to work on is, of course, I did promise to show you the candle again. So candle wax, I mean, you wouldn't think it would stick, would you? You really wouldn't, but it does. I do love the butterflies, so I'm going to bring in another butterfly. We'll put it on the back so you know there's no cheating. You can see there's nothing on there. let's go for, oh, I'm liking the look. Let's go for one of the little green ones because I've got a couple of those. So I'm very loosely going to cut this out first of all. Again, I'm going to remove my transfers and put them at the side here so they're away from the water. If I got water on the top where the film is, that's fine. It's the backing here that would cause the problem. If you get that wet, the transfer is going to transfer and stick to the film. Now, there is something else that I was going to tell you with the first bit of demonstration that I didn't, so I'll make sure I do this time. I'm just going to cut this butterfly out again. Now, obviously, you've got almost like a pencil line where the antennae are, so you don't want to try and get too close to those, or you might cut them off. But because we're going onto a light candle here as well, I can't even see anything at the outer edge of the transfer that's already on the candle. So I'm just taking away any excess there. I think that will do as it is. So you can see I've still got the two antennae. And again, I'm going to pop this in the water, so we'll count to 30. If somebody can time that for me. And that's all I need to do, just wait. So while I'm waiting, I'll give you the details. $17.99. I think that goes for all of the bundles we've got under item number 263226. Same item number, just different options. You will see all those photographs and images on the website as well. Now, the postcards are very, very busy. They're the sheets with the individual of 6 on. Really good buy as well. Now, I'm being counted out. Just waiting for the transfer. Right, so again, try and avoid getting your fingertips too far into the transfer itself. If you've got a pair of tweezers, it is a good idea to use them. Now, if you do leave your transfer in the water for too long, what you may find is that the transfer floats away from the backing. So you do want to be a little bit careful with that. Better to take it out too soon. In fact, I'll show you what you can do with that in a little while, because I didn't show that in the earlier hour. Do you know what? I've done the big mistake that I tell you what not to do. Actually, I'm really pleased I've done that. What didn't I do, everybody? I didn't take the film off. This is what happens when you don't take the film off. If I just slide the back away, it's stuck to the film. Now, if you do that, do not throw them away. Do not throw that away. You can use that. You could actually make that like use it like a little acetate butterfly, or what you could do is apply some gel medium or some PVA glue that dries clear, and you could apply that onto something. That would look lovely on some acetate on a card. So, I am definitely not going to waste that. I'm just going to pop that to one side. So, actually, see, that was the thing I was going to tell you that I didn't tell you. Always remember to take the film off. And then I did the biggest mistake, but it does prove a point. So, let's do it again. Should we go with the same butterfly? Let's go for the same one, the green one. Now this time, I'll definitely take the film off. Okay, so, same thing again. Let's just roughly cut around this. So, now I'm trying to work out, if you left the film on, yeah, it would, wouldn't it? I was thinking with the wording, if you left the film on and it had the wording on, would it still be back to front? But of course, when it's on the film, it doesn't matter which way you show it because the film is clear. Right, so now let's take that film off. Put that to one side. Now we're back in the water. So, another 30 seconds. Oh, I'm so sorry, Hannah, in our gallery. So sorry. While Hannah's counting, I'm going to get... ooh, something else ready for a demonstration. I may have to pinch something from over there. Actually, before I do so, I'm just going to show you this as well. Not got many seconds left. Using any scraps that you've got, any offcuts, instead of wrapping them around the edge of your project, cut them down if they're going to disappear over the edge and use the spare bits. That's all I've done there. Use the spare bits. Right, okay, so butterfly out of the water. Let's now apply that to the wax, and it's exactly the same way, and I can see that backing is coming off already. Do you know, it's very much like when I don't know if you can still get them, but when we were small, I'm saying when I was small, and some of us here, you could get the tattoos that you transfer with water, the children's tattoos. But look at that. That has come out so beautifully. Again, don't rub the wax. Let me just show that to the front. What a lovely way of decorating your candles. You know, as a gift, if you buy some candles that are plain and you want to decorate them. Lovely. I would just let that dry naturally now. I don't need to do anything else to it. Those borders as well in the first bundle would be really, really nice. Right, I'm going to show you a couple more demonstrations, then we're going to have a little bit of a break while I get ready with my suitcase, because I have been working on it. Didn't get much time because I had to do some presenting, which is a bit of a shame, but never mind. Right, now, I did say there was another way of applying the transfers, so I'm just going to grab, let's go for one of the postcards. I know these are very busy. Okay, so these are the ones where you've already got a frame. I could work with the frame, or I could cut this one out. I've got one of Paola's coffee tins. I am just going to take this a bit closer. Although you've got all those flourishes around the edge, it doesn't mean that you have to cut really close to those. Just kind of roughly cut around. And this time I'm not actually going to soak it into the water. I'm going to show you another way that you can do this. My favourite way is actually soaking it in the bowl of water. I've got to say I prefer it that way, but you've got a choice. Just because I prefer it that way doesn't mean everybody will. Okay, so I'm just going to move those transfers out of the way. Where did I put my tin? Bear with me. There it is. So this was just a coffee tin. It's a little bit battered actually, but it doesn't matter. I would normally do a paint effect on there, but you know, we'll not do that at the moment. We're just going to apply the transfer. And it's another one where the wording is completely back to front because, of course, we've not applied that down yet. So the top tip, as always, remember to take the film off. Let's make sure we do that first of all. So I'll just grab that, if I can get it with my nail that's broken. There we are. As I say, the surface of the transfer is slightly tacky, so it will hold in place for you. So I'm going to get this nice and central. Okay, put that down, and because I'm working on a curve, that doesn't matter. You can see that is going to hold there. You know, it's not falling off. I can shake that. It's not going to go anywhere. Now I'm using the same sponge, but this time I'm keeping quite a lot of water on it, and I'm going to use the sponge just to soak the back of the transfer sheet. Now straight away you can see how the print is coming through. You do need to wet this quite a lot and make sure everything is coming through. Again, give it a little rub from the centre, holding that back down. It takes a little bit longer because you've got to, when you've got it in a bowl of water, it's literally soaking all the way around. So here you're applying the water to the back. So rather than just trying to slide it off straight away, I might just try and lift the edge and just see if that's ready to peel. Yeah, it is. So actually, you can do it that way, or you could slide it. Doesn't matter if the backing tears, but look at that. Look at that. That's fabulous, isn't it? Again, do not rub that down. Let that dry. No air bubbles, no wrinkles. That's gone on beautifully. And now you can read every word that's on there, can't you? Love it. These are great for upcycling. They really, really are. I do like these a lot. You know, I'm so desperate to do more furniture as well. Now, one other thing before we have a little break. I'm going to use a little bit of fabric because you can also apply your transfers to fabric. I've got very blunt scissors, I do apologise. So if I was applying to fabric, I would make sure that my fabric pieces are cut first of all. Maybe I'd be making a little bag or a cushion front. Now, I'm not saying you could put these through a very heavy wash, but if you seal your fabric, and you can get, you know, stabilisers for your fabric or sealants, or you could use a watered down PVA or a Mod Podge again. So I wouldn't suggest using something that's going to get a lot of wear and tear, but something that's going to be on show, perfectly fine. I think probably you might find a cotton or a linen or something that's more of a natural fabric might work better. We did mention denim earlier, which would be good, I think, especially with the coloured ones. Let's just go for, we'll go for one of the postcards again. Let's go for another one with words on. And I am just going to cut the frame out this time. We'll keep it square. You don't have to, you could do it the other way as well. Now, with it being the fabric, I'm not going to put this one into the bowl either. I'm just going to go directly onto the fabric. So film off, always important. Down onto the fabric. And obviously the fabric is going to get wet. So this is why it's better to use a natural fabric. And again, I'm really going to soak this, but straight away you can see how the print is coming through. Your fabric will dry, so you haven't got an issue there. So just literally soaking through that back. Do you know, it's quite addictive, this, actually. You just want to put transfers on everything. Right, now that does look pretty wet, so let's just give that a go. Again, because this is fabric, I'm not going to try and slide that because it has got a grain to it. Let's see. Oh, I think it's ready. There we go. Look at that. Wow. There you go. That is really good, isn't it? Oh, you could make little gift bags, couldn't you? Vintage gift bags would look amazing. So there you've got the fabric. So we've done MDF, we've done tin, we've done candle wax, we've done fabric as well. We've mentioned lots of other things. Do you know, while I get ready for the next demonstration, I think we'll go to a video and we'll see and hear all about freedom.
Have you heard of Hochanda Freedom? Did you know that as a Hochanda Freedom member, you could be making savings on every order you place? For just £5.97 a month, you will benefit from selected Freedom member discounts and complimentary standard delivery on every order you place. You will also receive our exclusive Hochanda Freedom members badge, regular newsletters, giveaways and crafty updates. If you shop with Hochanda more than twice a month, then Freedom is for you. Don't forget, your Freedom membership is flexible, so you can pause it if you're going away, or you can cancel it at any time. So what are you waiting for? Give us a call or head to the website, quoting item number 88888 and join Hochanda Freedom today.
Oh, thank you, Leonie. Now we're going to look at the options again for you. One item number, different options, and we do have one that's not on the counter. Remember the postcards. You do know about that because that's the one that's busiest, actually. I've got lots more samples behind me as well, so we might be able to bring some of those forward as well. So, first of all, we've got flowers all around. I think I've got a full set at the back here so I can show you these. This is the one where you get those beautiful birds in there. They are stunning, aren't they? The colours in these are just amazing. You can see, because you've got a background sheet that's white there as well, how it really sets off those colours. You've got to bear that in mind. If you were to put these onto a dark background, you would lose a lot of the effect. So do think about that when you're applying to your different surfaces. The borders, very, very useful. These around your candles again, or round jars, would look amazing. You know, just that little motif running around the edge of something. Then you've got your individual flowers there, or, well, you've got a few sprays in there as well, but lots of these are kind of individual little sprays or flower heads, so very useful just for adding some colour. Then the beautiful butterflies, one of my firm favourites, this sheet. I could just, you know, work with these the whole day long. I think they're stunning. Then we've got more in the way of the florals. This is a nice sheet, actually. I've got a jar that I applied the berries to earlier. I might show you that when we get back to demonstration, if I remember. Then we've got this sheet as well. I really like this one. It reminds me of all those mixed media techniques, you know, with the dripping paint and the splatters. So think about using your surfaces. Maybe if you've painted a background, added a little bit of ink, maybe stenciled onto it, or put your transfer, then stencil, that would work. Your paint splatters as well. Do all those different things. All the techniques you use in your mixed media, you can still apply. So that's the first set. That's our flowers all around. Oh, can I just show this while I'm here as well? Talking about the different surfaces, this is a real shell. Look at this. Isn't that clever? It just shows what you can apply these transfers to. Porous or non-porous surfaces. It's just about give them a bit of varnish or some protection if you don't want those to get scratched, of course. Then we've got the vintage home. This is a really good one for upcycling. Like the coffee tin that I've just done would be great. We've got a wooden spoon here as well that looks really good. You can see you've got coffee time on there. Got a lovely fade effect there in the paint as well, but that really sets off with the text. So think about, you know, decorating things that you've got in your drawers at home that are just hanging around that aren't really useful, that you can transfer into something that looks very nice indeed. So the first sheet, we can see we've got postcard in there as well, but you've got your bread basket, you've got your coffee cup, you've got your croissant there, you've got various pieces of text in there, all very vintage in style again. This is a lovely one. I found this one a very useful one. I particularly like this image here as well. And again, if you want to overlay, maybe with some more text or fleur-de-lis or something like that, that would be great. Very, very useful. Cut these out individually, or even break down the ones like this, so you could take out the music notes and use the gentlemen separately as well. Lots of ways of working with that. Same with this one as well. You've got more of the ladies on this one. Reminds me of a lot of the lovely papers that we see from Stamperia, and you know, those well-known brands as well, the images that you see on their papers. Then we've got more in the way, oh look, travel chest. I'm going to bring my suitcase in a minute. You've got all sorts in here as well, a nice mix of different themes. Then you've got a mixture of the colours and the prints again, lots of text on that one. And then we've got that beautiful vintage Christmas, really do like that. Even if you're not thinking Christmas now, that is going to come in very, very useful indeed. Do like that. Then moving on to the bigger one, so the vintage floral. I so want to use this one on my suitcase, but I don't know that I will. I might have to borrow that. I think that is my all-time favourite one. I just love it. I love everything about that. Then you've got this one here. So you've got that beautiful, almost a cameo effect. You've got the frame and the lady's face in the centre. Use it together, use it separately. I love the postcard on this one as well. Just turn it that way. Obviously the writing that currently is back to front. Lots of elements on this next sheet. Again, you've got the mixture of colour and the black print. That lovely bird there as well. The more you look at these images, the more you see in them as well. Then we've got the beautiful florals, again with the script, great for your coffee tables, great for your furniture. Go on canvases as well, straight onto your canvases, that would work, build up on the background of that. Beautiful forget-me-nots there. And then the striking red flower, that is stunning as well, isn't it? Love the script in the background of that one with those butterflies. So that's your floral. Then we have the vintage travel for you, another real favourite. Now, there is one missing here because I've got it on my table, so we'll have a look at that in a second. But again, you've got beautiful birds in this one. We've also got your elements here that you can break down or use. I mean, there's 4 good size elements there, but you can certainly split that down further. Another favourite of mine, and I've used this on the little table as well on the top of it. Isn't that lovely? Really, really nice. Then we've got Paris and the music notes. Now that does match the transfer that I put on the table, but we've got Paris on this one and New York on the other one. And I adore the clock as well. I mean, when that is facing the right way around when you put the transfer down, isn't that beautiful? I did apply that to a canvas, but I don't know where the canvas is at the moment. I don't know if it's here or at home, but I haven't got it with me today. But never mind. The 6th one is this one here, that you can see has gone directly onto the table, and I did put a little bit of sealant over the top of there as well. It was just sort of a furniture sealant that I used, so there's various different materials or products that you can use there. £17.99 regardless of which one you go for. 263 226. We have one more to remind you of as well, because we've got the postcards and it's very, very busy. I don't know whether you noticed the plant stand there as well, because that had the Paris one on. I'm going to grab, as you're just looking at the website there, a few more samples just to show you as well, because we have got some lovely samples to show. Dispatched from the 29th of January. That's the dispatch date for you. And you can have so much fun. That gives you plenty of time to be grabbing all those bits and pieces for upcycling as well. Doesn't matter if it's jars, if it's bottles, if it's bits of MDF, if it's ceramic tiles. Maybe you've got some spare ceramic tiles. They make great coasters as well, don't they? Or plant pot, I don't know, stands, or, you know, things for your pans in the kitchen. This is lovely because you've got those butterflies in different sizes there, that lovely paint effect. So you can see how the butterflies have transferred directly over to the different paint effect there. Using your moulds, you know I love my moulds, so I would always think about using moulds in the different with the different techniques as well. Same as this one, just a bottle, that's all it is. And you can see again the beautiful paint techniques, just one transfer, and then using those other elements that you've probably already got in your stash. This one is a little wooden box. Now you can also apply these transfers to real books. If you've got any hardback books with the covers that you don't like, or old ones, and you want to make them so you can decorate them, just paint up the front covers and then apply the transfers. Again, use your distressing techniques, your inks, your sprays, whatever you wish. It gives a lovely, lovely finish. And there we've got another bottle again. And you can see how that transfer has been cut down a little bit because it was a little bit larger than that. But you can do that. You can change the size of them. You can adapt them to suit your preference and your project. Now, I did mention a jar earlier on, and one of the transfers, I think it's from the Flowers All Around this one. I did this in the earlier hour. I really like this, but I just wanted to show how you can also apply directly onto a shaped glass as well. So you can see, I think, is that hexagonal? Yes, there's 6 sides to it. So it doesn't matter if it's shaped, it will still work. I mean, homemade jam inside there, or some pickle or something, you know, it would look really, really nice, wouldn't it? Do like that. But I did mention my suitcase, didn't I? Let's see if we can bring it in. It's rather big. Do excuse me. I've got to pick it up. Now, I would not suggest using, if you've got an old leather suitcase that's an heirloom or something that's very sentimental, I wouldn't dream of painting over that. But this was a very battered, falling apart suitcase. You can see there's bits dropping off it. It's the stitching gone on it. It was going to go to the tip apparently. But I've painted it. If I just turn this around, just because I didn't have much time, I managed to get 4 coats of paint on that in about half an hour, which isn't a wise idea. You should normally leave the coats to dry longer. But I've got a little bit of a dry brushed effect on there. I will probably, if I get a chance to finish this off at some point, I might be able to take it home and finish it. I've done some dry brushing. I'm going to quickly show you that, and I've also caught on the edges there, but you could bring out the detail with your metal finishes, your waxes and things like that, or your metallic paints. So, do you know, I'm just going to put a transfer on here. So which one do I go for? I think it's got to be the New York one, because that's the one I went for earlier. Let me just see if I can grab that, simply because it's a suitcase and I'm thinking travel. So, the New York one is the one that's on my coffee table. Now, this is a large transfer. So, I'm going to take it out of the packet. I'll show you that dry brushing as well very quickly. I would normally build that up a little bit more, because we've only really got the samples of the transfers to show you tonight. We're not selling the paints and things. I can't really sort of be going into this in too much detail. I've just brought my own paints from home. So, I've just got a very pale grey. And this is my very special brush, and everybody thinks, why on earth do you keep that? Look at the state of it. But this is my dry brushing brush. I love it. Whenever you've got an old brush that's very worn, it's great for dry brushing. So I've literally almost taken every scrap of paint off there, and I would just go over the surface, and where you've got any edges, just build that up a little bit more. Don't know if you can see that picking up there. It's very subtle, but it will catch on the edges and it will bring out the detail. So I can do that, and I would literally do that all over the surface of this. I've only got these colours to work with, and I would build up that dry brush effect on there, and you know, it makes it look like weathered wood almost. So that was how I did that. Very simple to do. When it comes to the transfer, I could put this on as a whole, but I have got quite a lot of, you know, transparency around the edge then. I don't really want to see that, even though this is quite a light surface. So I'm going to do what I normally do and just cut around this quite quickly, just taking away as much of that background as I possibly can. Being careful not to cut into the leaves. We've got fern on this one, we've got all sorts. You see, I would build this up with so many of the different transfers. I would overlay them. I would probably do some distressing on the suitcase. I'd sand back some of the paint effect. I'd put some metallic paint on the edges perhaps. You could even stencil over this as well, but you could certainly build up the detail with these transfers in many, many different ways. Because this is travel theme, this is why I've gone for this one. It's got New York on it. We do have a lovely transfer, very similar. It matches this one actually, that says Paris on it, and I think I would put that on the inside in the lid so it matched, or maybe on the front of it fitted. So we'll just take away as much excess as possible, and I want to make sure I take the film off because I don't want to transfer this onto the film. So that's my next job, to get rid of that. And this is where I'm going to ask our lovely Hannah, who's in the gallery, to count. Now, before I do that, something that I will just mention, if I've got one, I haven't got a ruler or a tape measure, but if you're soaking this into a bowl of water, once you've taken it out, you've got to be quite quick to get that down, and you don't want to be moving it around because you will damage the transfer. So I would suggest something like this, a project where you want a very central piece. Mark it with your pencil, mark it with your tape measure, do whatever you feel. I'm not measuring this, but I'm just showing you. So mark it. Actually, it would be the other way around that I'd have that, but you can see what I mean. I'm marking it so I know the top and the bottom. I don't get this bang in the middle, it's not the end of the world, but I would definitely take the care at home. So, lovely Hannah, if you can start counting. This is quite a big transfer, so 30 seconds again. And I'll just remind you the details, because all of the sets we've got are under item number 263226. We're very busy actually tonight, so let's have your company, because it's quite lonely when I'm all on my own. We do have Kirsty here as well. She's our floor manager for tonight. And we've got Katie producing, and we've got Hannah counting for me at the moment. She's our director. Almost there. There. Right, okay. So a little bit of curling of the transfer. That doesn't matter. I'm just going to shake off a little bit of the excess. Now, as I say, just bear in mind, this is a transfer, so if you haven't got tweezers and you're using your fingers, do be careful that you don't apply your fingers to the front of the transfer too much. I'm hoping I'm not too far off the centre. I'm probably way off, but I don't want to move it now. Now, if you did want to remove anything, if you got it completely wrong, you see that backing's wanting to move already. If you've got it completely wrong, what I would suggest is remove the transfer with a scourer or something to get it off before you seal it, because you would be able to remove it. It does take a bit of work, because I took it off the suitcase earlier and I had to really scrub at it. But you can get it off, but certainly do protect it with a varnish or a glue once you've finished. A decoupage glue is perfect. So again here, I'm just going to slide that away. Let's just slide that right away. Obviously this is wet, so it's making the paint look a different colour. But that looks wonderful, doesn't it? Really do like that, and I would really go to town and add lots and lots of those transfers. I think it needs some script coming in from the side. I'd maybe put Postcard on there as well. What time we got? Have we got time to do another one? Let's see what we've got. Let's have a look. Let's see if we can find one that says Postcard. I did have, oh, there is one that says Postcard. It's got that lady on it, the cameo, I think. Let me just grab that. I'll just see if I can grab it from the set. There we are. Right, okay, so shall we go with the Postcard? So the one that it comes in is the Vintage Travel. So it's this piece at the bottom that I'm going to use. So again, I'm just going to take that one out. There's some splatters on this as well. Is it Vintage Floral, this one? Right, you'll see all the images on the website anyway. Now, we have got some paint splatters on this one, which I don't really want to lose, but I'm still going to take away some of the background. And again, you can splatter this with paint afterwards as well. If you've got rice papers, you want to apply your rice paper onto surfaces, you can still go over the top with your transfers. You don't have to worry about that. Do you know, we're talking porous and non-porous surfaces, so it really does open up those options of applying these transfers to so many different things. Stone it would work on as well. Again, just think about sealing. That's the most important thing. If it's something that's going to get some wear and tear, you want to seal it with the appropriate medium. Anything that's water-based would work. I wouldn't use a solvent-based, but I would use water-based. Okay, so where should we put this one then? Should we have it in the corner, do you think, down here? Should we go there? Maybe we'll do that. I might cut some butterflies out as well. Right, film off. Film off. Let's dip that in. Somebody's counting for me, hopefully, and I'll cut a butterfly out. Let me find, where have I put the butterflies? I think this would take quite a big butterfly, actually. Let's go for, oh, the orange one. These butterflies could be on every side of this suitcase. I'm only putting them on the lid at the moment, simply because I want to do some more work on this. Oh, we're nearly ready for the transfer. If you're on your own and you've got one of those little timers or a timer on your phone, that would work as well. I could have gone with the sponge directly to the back of the transfer. I'll do that maybe with the butterfly, just to show you again the other option. But let's put that there. Again, just hold the backing down because it will be very slippery. So I'm holding that and working from the centre outwards just to make sure there's no air bubbles in there. You can see how easily that's going to come away again. Look at that. Look at that. Love it, love it. When that's dried again and you see the paint go back to its usual colour, then that is going to look amazing. Just avoid rubbing at it while it's wet. But you can see how that's going to build up. Let's go with the butterfly because I will just use the sponge in a different way. So I'm just going to cut this out again. I'm being careful because I've got slightly damp fingers and I don't want to get the water on the back of this because it'll start to transfer. So just remember that. Always cut with the film in place and try to avoid getting water on the back. I could probably take a little bit more of the backing off of these, but, you know, it's just speed for demonstration. I can tell you, Dress My Craft as well, I've got so many new transfers. I cannot wait to see what's coming next. I'm just hoping next time I've got a lot of time to prep for a show so I can get some really nice bits and pieces together for working with, because when it comes to the upcycling side of things, this is my real joy. Where should we go with this? Should we have it flying away, I think, there? So we'll go there. So this time, film's off. That will hold down because it's slightly tacky. Do need to apply quite a lot of water to this. I need to really saturate the back. Try not to rub it too much. I did rub it a little bit there, but try almost just blotting that on. A sponge is better than a cloth because it holds the water, so you can kind of just keep dabbing that. What you're looking for is the transfer coming all the way through, so you don't see the whiteness of the film. You can see the print coming all the way through. I would then use the sponge just to take that and push out again from the centre, just in case there's any air bubbles there. The wetter that gets, you might see a little bit of the paper coming off, but that's fine. That's fine. Now it should be ready to peel away, or you could slide it away, but I like to peel it away when I'm using the sponge in this way to make sure it's gone down. There we are. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Those butterflies are gorgeous, aren't they? Oh, I really like that. Do you know, I just want to go home and carry on with this now. Well, good night, Matthew Palmer, and painting, and now old suitcases and putting transfers on them. Do you know, I am just going to put that to one side because it's quite big, and I'm going to bring back in the MDF. Now we've not got long left, but just to show you, with this piece again, just using various different elements. So I'm just going to bring out bits and pieces. I don't know what I've got here now. Let's see. I've got a flourish sheet. See, you've got two on one sheet, but that's no reason why you can't cut into this. I wanted a bit of text, but it's rummaging around in the drawer now. I'm going to see if I can find some quickly because I wanted to overlay one or two of these as well. Now, you can add some colour with your pens as well if you wanted to. One of these samples, which one is it? Oh, that one. I've smudged the back of it now. But I did add some colour into the butterfly. There was no colour there, so you can add your pens over the top as well if you wanted to put colour. I'm just going on to painted surfaces here, but if you build up with your sprays and your inks, and as I say, you stencil the background, then put transfers on, then use your texture paste through your stencils as well. Where should we have that? Now, this is what I was saying earlier. If I decided where that was going, obviously it's going to go the other way because when I put it face down, it's going to work like that. I'm just looking there. If I put that there, just for, I don't know if it will look quite as I want it, but just to show you, I would trim away anything I'm not using at that point, rather than waste it. Now I'm going to take the film off these and put them both in the water. So let's pop that one in. So we're counting again. If somebody can let me know when we're at 15 seconds, I'm going to put the second bit in, just so I'm not having to take them both out at the same time. So that's the bit I've cut off, and that's the main bit. And while we're doing that, I'm just going to see if I can find some text. Are we at 15? Ish. Let's drop the other one in then. Oh, somebody's forgot to count. If you leave it too long, the back will float away from the transfer, and then you've got to go fishing, and it's not easy to catch hold of the transfer. Yeah, it's better to under soak it than over soak it, because if you under soak it, you can still go with the sponge on the back. Just going to leave that sat there because I don't want it to soak too long. Oh, see, that what happens if you stick your finger in it, not to worry. So what I'm going to do here, that's what happens if you get your finger on the front of the transfer. So let's just have that there. We'll put some text over that as well. Let's put this little bit just at the bottom there as well. So that looks as though it's coming in from the side. We've still got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to add some text over that bit that I've messed up. Never think you've wasted anything. Do you know, I don't know what this says, and I don't really mind. I'm just going to cut into it and split this one up a little bit. They do layer. That's what I'm going to do with this one, hopefully. So film off before I forget. Butterfly, that's what you need. It's a bit like your card making. Stick a butterfly over where you've made a mistake, or if you do any damage with something. Let's just go with this bit as well. Is somebody counting? Oh. But rather than waste, right, I'm going to put that one in, take this one out. So another one in now. So this one, actually I'm going to put butterfly over that top bit. So which way up does that go? I don't know if I've got this upside down now. Let's put that there. Where's my sponge? Did I take the film off that bit? I don't know, I took the film off. Oh, I've got to take the other one out. Is that still... I've forgotten how many bits and pieces I've got in here now. Let's go with the text. Oh no, we're nearly out of time. Where did the time go? Oh, I thought I was gonna get a butterfly on there. Oh, we haven't got time for a butterfly, have we? Why's that not coming off? Have I left the film on this one? No, I haven't. No, it's not soaked long enough. So what you need to do is just soak it a little bit longer. Somebody wasn't counting properly then because it's not soaked long enough. There we are. There we are. So you can layer up. Don't think that one was soaked quite long enough either. So if it doesn't come away easily, just soak it more. Oh, what a mad rush at the end. Definitely wanted butterflies on there, but what you do, you create something like that. It's there, all laid up and beautiful. Do you know, the last few minutes of that show, I don't know where they went. Matthew Palmer One Day Special coming up next, and then we've got Let Leonie Loose, and then we've got an hour with Pink Frog Crafts.
Hi, I'm Hayley from Craft Yourself Silly, and we're really excited to still be working with you guys here on Hochanda. We were there from the very, very beginning, and we're still bringing you lots of really exciting soft crafts. We design and manufacture all of our kits and all of our fabrics here in the UK, and we love bringing them to you. So if you're an experienced sewer or you're just starting out in soft crafts and sewing, join us. There's tips and fabrics for everybody. Make sure you don't miss our shows and come and craft yourself silly on Hochanda.